So hey everyone, I'm really pleased that you can join us here. I'm here with Barry. Of course, you've met Spook before, with Shiva, and yours truly, G-Man. And we're here at the Matura Elephant Sanctuary. And
Sanctuary.
No. Let's just do that again. And we're here at the Matura Elephant Rescue Park. And one of the things that we love about this place here is that it's an NGO. And so all the donations, or most of the donations that you've been giving us over the last couple of months, we're going to be giving a portion to the elephant camp here, and we're going to show you some footage here of what it's actually like when you step onto the grounds here. So Shiva, welcome. Can I just ask, what made you get into this whole elephant rescue?
Actually, the animals are always my passion since my childhood, and actually I did my bachelor in civil engineering. And after that, since 2009, I was following Wildlife SOS because of their amazing work to eradicate the dancing bear practice from India,
Right.
as a volunteer. So that was my how I get connected with Wildlife SOS. And slowly, once I completed my studies and all, so I was very overwhelmed with the founders, Karthik sir and Geeta ma'am. Then I completed my studies and I quit my job and everything. I joined Wildlife SOS as education officer since last 4 years, full time. So that's how I'm connected with the elephant, and I learned everything about these amazing and incredible giants just here.
Yeah.
And just by observing and seeing them by safe and respectable distance, and I learned a lot from them.
How many elephants do you have here in the camp at the moment?
So at the moment we have 22 rescued elephants. Those all are rescued from circus, from temples, from riding industries, and they all came really very bad situation. And just because of the continuous and hard work and effort by our vet team and our ground team, they are now improving in their health, their mental status both, and they are very happy and very comfortable in this life.
Wow.
And why are elephants so important to the ecosystem in general, and what challenges do they face in India at the moment? We know they're dwindling quite rapidly.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, within last 50-60 years, because of human population growth and a lot of development demand, we have lost 98% of the elephant population from the wild. So that is a very, very big loss for us. And you will know these elephants are a very key species of this ecosystem and in this food chain in the wild. They walk a lot, they eat a lot, and their digestion system is very bad. Only 50% they can digest. That's how they spread a lot of important seeds of the different plants and the herbs in the forest. They create paths for the other animals. They create water holes for the other animals to live. So if we will lose these elephants from the forest, so definitely we will lose a big part of the other wild animal species and the herbs and the plants from India, and which will be very, very sad for us. And right now the situation is very alarming. We have lost 98%, and every year we are losing almost 1,000 elephants in the wild, and that too just because of habitat loss and highways, railways, electrocution. So and then comes like poaching. So it's very sad. Just because of our demand and our development procedures, we are losing these animals.
But you have now a great education program for those people from understanding what this wasn't an easy process. The government wasn't just giving you a free carte blanche to go and pick up the elephants. You had to put a program in place to be able to educate young people, also the people who were owning the elephants. It was more of a process where you had to then retrain the people to give them a business. Was that right? You had to try to train the children, and also like in the education programs, but also the owners of the elephants. If they would freely give up their elephant, you would then offer them some training in other business areas. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. So there are, according to the captive elephant condition in India, there are 2,400 elephants plus
Still.
in the captivity still.
Yeah.
So their condition is not good because they all are being forced just for human entertainment, for riding, for begging on the streets, for wedding ceremonies, for temples in the name of religion, and just because of lack of education and awareness. That is the only tool how we can change the mindset of the Indian people, young generation as well as the tourists. And the second is to create a model center and help retraining the other elephant owners and the handlers. So what is the positive management with these captive elephants in the captivity? So that is what we are doing with the captive elephants, to make sure the rest of the life should be in a best possible care and with more understanding with them. Otherwise, they are wild animal and they never deserve any captive life.
And you also have to re-educate or educate tourists like ourselves. Or so people come here and they see the elephants in the street and they're all painted up and they look nice and they're around the temples and the tourist areas, and the people are selling rides or the elephants are begging, and it seems like a harmless thing to do is to get on one of these animals and ride it around. But what you don't understand and what you don't see is what happens behind the scenes before you got there. Those elephants are beaten and tortured and forced to live a solitary existence for such a social animal in the middle of cities. They don't get to be an elephant whatsoever, and they're tied and chained and beaten into submission just so that you can get on them and ride them. So if you do end up coming to India or Thailand or anywhere where they're offering elephant rides, make sure that you don't partake, because if the demand dries up, then the supply will have to dry up as well. So could you share with some ways that these handlers would mistreat these elephants to try and get them to comply and try and get them trained so that they could be docile in front of tourists?
Yeah, actually it's a very sad process for these elephants, and this all starts from their childhood. Every single elephant those are working in the captivity, they all had been captured directly from the wild when they were very young and just a baby elephant. And there is a whole process to break their spirit. Whenever the poachers and the old owners and the handlers, they used to capture them from the wild, the baby ones, they used to tie up their forelegs and they used to beat them for 1 month without food and water.
An entire month.
That is the first step of any single captive elephant, to break their spirit and to scare them that much, like they have to literally behave like a slave. And see, actually I cannot explain the pain of these elephants, what they had gone through. You can imagine a life of a slave for 50-60 years where you will never be allowed to do your own natural activities. Elephants are very social, they are very intelligent, they need a big space to roam around, they need a time to live with their family, to learn the skills and other things in the wild. But in the captivity, they will be deprived from all these things. They will be never in a social group. They have to always live alone their whole life. They will be always chained up. After working hour, after training period, they have to be in the chain just to show a kind of dominancy over the elephant. So that is all very bad. Even they will never allow them to go free to any water body. No free access for mud and sand bathing and all. No free access for food. It's very, very bad situation. And they use a lot of brutal weapons called bull hooks, sharp metal weapons with hooks, with spikes, with chains, and that all creates a lot of horrible wounds on their body. Whenever they are coming here, we are very sad just seeing their conditions, and it's very, very different, very different. So we all have to be very careful while promoting any kind of activities with any animal in the streets. So we have to be very careful.
Yeah, and by the time the elephants gets here, it's riddled with injuries and infections from decades of being beaten with these things. And we've seen them, and we'll have footage of it, these elephants that have permanent injuries that are never going to heal simply because somebody wants to give rides or somebody wants to beg in the street with this elephant. So they're really horrifically treated, and these guys are doing wonderful work to rehabilitate them and give them back a life of an elephant again.
So if you ever get the chance and you want to come out and visit, and you're out here and say you're doing one of our rickshaw rallies and you're thinking about coming out to Mathura, it's about an hour and a half outside of Agra. So once you go and visit the wonderful palace, might be good just to jump in an Uber. They have Ubers here now. And you can come out here and visit the centre here, and they've got great volunteers here that are doing amazing work here. And but mostly it's about funds. If it's costing $50,000 to rescue one elephant, those funds are vitally important here. So I know Shiva's very busy today, and we've taken up so much of his time, but we want to thank you for at least allowing us a visit here.
Absolutely.
And showing us the facilities here, which is quite amazing, and what you're doing here for these elephants is extraordinary.
Thank you so much, Barry and Gerard.
And we're very glad there's people like you in the world that are doing this good work. And we're very glad there's people like you who are donating money so that we can continue to do this good work for freeing these captive elephants. So please donate. These elephants, how much do these elephants eat every day?
They are eating 200 kilograms.
200 kilograms a day per elephant per day. So that takes a lot of money. So if you can, please head over to the SOS Wildlife SOS website and become a monthly donor so that you can have a monthly contribution to feeding these elephants and giving them a bit of a life that they deserve after decades of torture.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Namaste.